Hello and welcome to Sports Today. This is a special broadcast. I am on my way back to the main press center. Very mixed day for India. Two bad news, one great news. The first bad news was from archery. Atanu Das uh, bowed out in the round of 16. First set was disappointing from Atanu. Then he came back well with a tie. And then he won the third. So it was all square, 4-all. Fourth set was also a tie. In the last set, Atanu was modest, and it was a fair call that he lost, and but he wasn't disgraced. I'm okay with people trying their best and losing out. That's not a problem for me. That's reasonably okay. But what is a problem? What is a problem for me is lack of effort, and that is precisely what happened with Amit Pangal. He is one of India's most decorated boxers. By the way, if you're seeing Anilava Chatterjee's name here, that's because Anilava's with me here, so he and I have used this account together. That's why, for no other reason. Amit Pangal is one of India's most decorated and most talented boxers. I was on commentary for the host broadcaster when he won his Asian Games gold. And by the way, that was an incredible fight. Incredible fight in 2018. Thereafter, if you see his Asian Championship fight of last month, he was stellar against Zoirov. The decision went against him, but the effort was paramount. Amit Pangal was brilliant. That's what irritated me this morning. By the way, if you see, I'm on the bus and look at Tokyo. So this is we are at the Kokugikan Arena. From here, we are going to the MPC, and from there, we'll take off. The latest that is coming in is Tejaswini Sawant in rifle. There was something going on with her rifle, so she stopped. Anju Mudgil is very modest at the moment. Was ranked 13th when I was checking. So that is what the the women's 50 meters 3P was standing at this point in time. So I'm giving you a glimpse of Tokyo. We are on the bus from the Kokugikan Arena to the main press center. So let me and I've opened this mask because as you can see, it's an empty bus. So let me just show you that. So I'm not breaking any rule. There are no people around in this bus. There's plenty of social distancing. So I can actually open my mask and do my show. So coming back to Amit Pangal, I was very upset at three things. And let me also say this, I had a chat with Ajay Singh, the BFI president, and I mentioned this to him. First round was all Amit, 4-1 in favor of Amit Pangal. And he was very good. If you see the first round, went in boxed, came out points, and the Colombian was not able to land. He was hardly able to land punches. So it was a 4-1 verdict in favor of Amit Pangal. The second round, all of us expected Amit to get even more attacking, and that has always been the nature of Amit Pangal's game. Unfortunately here, it was a shocker. It was an absolute shocker. Amit Pangal did not attack even once. He was running around the ring, he was ducking, he did not land a single punch. In fact, I will say he was extremely lucky that one of the judges gave the second round to him 10-9. And the bout was even at the end of 2 rounds. If you ask me, he should have lost the second round 5-0. And in the third round, Amit Pangal was nowhere. Amit was just nowhere. I mean, he was decimated in the third round. It was a horrible round for Amit. Now comes the funny part. When we walked to the mix zone to speak to Amit, firstly, he was hardly there. He was there for about a minute and he walked off. I asked him, kya hua? He couldn't even say anything. He was mumbling. The coach Santiago Niva was there. And Santiago took questions. I asked him straight up, what was the point? Amit Pangal, was he tired? And the coach, in a rather bizarre statement, tells me at the end of the first round, he was tired. Like, what? At the start of the second round, after 3 minutes of boxing, your world number 2 best boxer, decorated boxer from India, when you know that this Colombian fellow will come hard. You are tired at the end of the first round. Does that even make sense to you? Physically, were you not up there then? Were you hiding an injury? Was something wrong with you going into the competition? Then I asked Santiago Niva, because Amit would spar with this guy in Italy, the Colombian fellow, that during sparring, Amit found him difficult. So as a result, was he mentally down? He said, no, mentally he was okay. But we are not surprised because this was very similar to Italy. Initially, he would lose the first, he would even lose 2 rounds. Towards the latter part, uh, you know, it was towards the latter part of sparring, Amit had won the 2 rounds on one occasion. So clearly, if that was the case, then you needed to be better prepared to be able to deal with it. You needed to be better prepared to be able to fight this Colombian fellow, because you knew he would come hard. He was not even in the fight, and Santiago's answer that he was tired at the end of the first round, that he was, and he even said that they were hoping that Amit would win 2 rounds because they had no chance in the third. What do you mean? Your best boxer would have no chance in the third when you are the higher rank, more pedigreed boxer. I have no explanation to this. I have absolutely no explanation to this, that why would this happen, that a boxer as good as Amit would not have any answer, and would lose the third round. So you're telling me, or you're telling us, that you're going into a bout knowing that you will lose the third round. So you had to win the first two. Come on, that's the most bizarre explanation possible. 5 male boxers came here: Manish first round, Ashish first round, Vikas first round, Amit first round. Only Satish has made it, and he will face obviously the world number 1, Jalalov. Now, 4 first rounders. Take a look at Vikas. Injured, tendonitis. Obviously, he was in no shape to even play. No shape. Should he have come? No, he should not have. A boxer as decorated absolutely should not have come here. In fact, I do not want to name, but people from the boxing fraternity are constantly calling me. That is why the screen is getting blanked out, because some boxers are actually calling. They know that this show will be hard hitting, and I'm asking straight questions. Santiago Niva, you are the coach of the men's team. 2 of our most decorated boxers. I've got no problems with people losing, and you guys know me. I've got no problems with people losing. Disappointments are part of sport. But I've got serious problems with people hiding injuries. I've got serious problems with people doing what Amit did today. That is not what we expect of our boxers at the Olympic Games. So, Mr. Niva, there has to be some kind of accountability. Do you think that you have failed in your job? And if you don't, then give us an explanation as to why you think you haven't. Because there are certain hard questions that have to be asked now. Because this is, as I said, the Indian men's boxing team is a famed one. And while our women have done brilliantly well, unfortunately the men results have been pretty shocking. So some hard questions ought to be asked of the BFI and Santiago Niva. Obviously, we will back Satish. We will want Satish to win us a medal. Until then, we will ask these questions. But post that, we will definitely seek accountability, because we will not let these things die down. And Olympic Games, for me at least, it's not every 4 years. I follow Abhinav's principle, it's every day. If there is a fundamental flaw, that fundamental flaw has to be rectified for India to become a better sporting country. Now to the good news. Kamalpreet Kaur was sensational. For an Indian discus thrower, 64, she also threw a 63.97. That would have been good enough. That would have been good enough to make the final, but 64, direct qualification for only 2 throwers. 64 was terrific, and by the way, her best throw is considerably more So if Kamalpreet Kaur is close to her best on August 2nd at 8 p.m. Tokyo time, 4:30 p.m. India, are we going to see history being made? Are we going to see history being made is the question. All of you, for God's sake, please be in front of your television sets. I will be in the stadium. All of us in unison will cheer for Kamalpreet Kaur. What a stupendous performance it has been today from Kamalpreet. Again, a woman. Look at our women so far. Lavlina, Kamalpreet, by the way, I spoke to Lavlina on the phone today. Wished her for her semi-final, and obviously will want to speak to her on camera after her semi-final, provided she wins, loses, whatever. And if she wins, then she'll go for gold. So we will obviously be in the stadium on August 2nd for Kamalpreet Kaur. She has a real chance. Make no mistake, she has a real chance. So Meera Chanu, Kamalpreet Kaur, all of them. Amit, did he hide an injury? Like Vikas, did Amit also hide an injury? Is the question that I wish to ask. Was his left wrist dodgy? Something that I'm hearing is his left wrist was dodgy. And did that impact his performance? But coming back to the women, Kamalpreet Kaur, Saikhom Chanu, Mirabai Chanu, again, Lavlina Borgohain, PV Sindhu, look at our women. And unfortunately, the men have been equally poor. Look at the men's boxing contingent. That's where I let it go because I've got to do some other work. We'll reach in a while. And obviously, I'll come back to you in the evening. We'll be at PV Sindhu's game. Massive match. One of the most difficult matches of her career. Against perhaps the greatest women badminton player of all time, Tai Tzu Ying. Can Sindhu do, the unthinkable? Can she make it to a second consecutive Olympic final? All of us will be wishing her the best. She starts as the underdog, but from the evidence at hand, the way she has played so far here in Tokyo, make no mistake, Sindhu is in top shape, physically and mentally. And that's what we will want from India's ace shuttler as we cheer for her from the stands. You on Sports Today, keep packing the platform. We will break every possible news. Rahul Rawat has done an interview with Deepika Kumari and Atanu Das. Trisha will put it across for you. Watch that interview with Deepika and Atanu. We will get you all the news, all the news breaks, all the interviews from here in Tokyo. Keep watching this space, and thanks for supporting.